Hey everybody, welcome, welcome to Hidden Horror. Thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate that. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, welcome to Hidden Horror. How are you guys doing today? So today I'm here. I want to bring you an update on one of the civil cases that involve Shawn Carter and Sean Combs. So we know that there was a minor, a 13-year-old, that made allegations initially, the case was against Sean Combs, and then Sean Carter was later added to the civil case. This case recently was dismissed. There were a lot of things involving the allegations that did not make sense. And in all honesty, I thought the case would be very hard to prove. Um, this accuser was alleging that this assault happened in 2000. Now it is 2025, of course, so we have more than 2 decades has passed. And at the time, it would be very hard to have evidence from 20 plus years ago, plus witnesses. Um, it would just be very hard to prove something like this. When the allegations are flushed out more, we find that um, there's not a lot of supporting evidence. I'll give you an example. When I heard about the allegations, and you guys know I do not like to cover assault cases. I try not to talk a lot about it. It's a very sensitive topic. If you need support, resources, check out RAINN, RAINN.org or 1-800-656-HOPE. That is just a fair warning if you're not able to handle the content that's going to be discussed in this video. But when I first heard about the allegations, I knew that that would be something that would be hard to prove. But for example, um, just just not having a lot of detail, saying, okay, well, you were, at one location. Well, what was the address? You were taken to a home. Well, what was the address? You don't have the details. And then the recollection of the accuser's father, where he says, well, I don't really remember that happening. You would remember something if you had to have extensive work, like if you had to drive 5 hours to and fro to do something, you would probably remember, but his recollection was not there. Just a lot of details that were missing. And also, some of the people that were involved, all high profile, probably would obtain their own counsel if they would be forced to testify in the civil case to deny their presence there. I can remember uh, Shawn Carter coming out and saying, well, I have documentation, I have proof. At this event, I was not there, I was here in a different location. All of that, I could see a lot of problems coming up very quickly. And also, this particular law firm that brought the case, I will say that they've had a lot of challenges in their cases. And again, there was some rumblings that this could have been like a money grab. Pretty much, I'm going to make these accusations allegedly and just try to get you to make a offer to settle it outside of a trial. I can also recall Shawn Carter saying, well, criminally charge me if I have done something wrong. not the civil suit, but if I've done something wrong and you have proof, you have evidence, criminally charge me, because I'm willing to fight and say that I am innocent. Now, it never got that far. It didn't go to trial. The case actually gets dismissed by the accuser. Um, Now, it's not revealed who the accuser is. We still don't know. That's been confidential. We don't even know why the case was dismissed. But again, as I've said all these things to you, I think it's highly likely that it was dismissed for maybe lack of evidence, lack of supporting witnesses, um, the credibility of the accuser, possibly mixing dates up, locations up, misinformation, things like that. Some cases are just very hard to prosecute and to prove. Um, because if they had enough to do a criminal prosecution and charge either Shawn Carter or Sean Combs, that would be what we would see. We would see a criminal investigation that leads to charges or prosecution, but we don't see that. We see these civil cases. And in this civil case, it was just like a lot of issues. So I'm going to pull up a picture so we know who we're talking about. I was going to use this picture, but it does look a little jovial, a little happy. Maybe more of a professional picture of them two together, because they appear to be, in the same industry, uh, knowing each other. And I don't want to say they're friends, but it appeared that they may have had a friendship being in the same industry together for a lot of years. Okay, so my article is coming from wwd.com. Is titled Civil Case Against Jay-Z and Sean Combs that alleged assault, because I can't use the R word, okay, of a minor dismissed. I think what made this particular case against, and I'm going to focus more on Sean Combs, but this particular civil case, because he has other civil cases, but I think because this civil case involved a minor, it was more disturbing. Um, so this article was written February 15, 2025, and it's by Rosemary Feidelberg. Okay. So let's get into the article. And then I have a short video. It's about 3 minutes long. We'll probably watch about 2.5 minutes of the short video. Okay. A civil case against Jay-Z and Sean Combs for allegedly are a 13-year-old female was dismissed Friday. The Jane Doe filing had been made in mid-December in the U.S. District Court in the Southern District of New York. The accuser, whose name was not identified, claimed the incident had happened in 2000 at a party after the MTV Music Awards. The dismissal was made at the request of her attorney, Anthony Buzbee of the Buzbee Law Firm. It was dismissed with prejudice, meaning that it cannot be filed again. So that's very important. I think when these allegations came out, we have the civil lawsuit, and the response by Mr. Combs and Mr. Carter. I think this is why the case was dismissed with prejudice, that these charges are not going to come back later, because they just vehemently denied these allegations. And again, Mr. Carter, he made statements to demonstrate that he was not even in this area at that time of the alleged incident. So this is where the prejudice comes in, that these charges will not come back again, because he can prove, he can demonstrate, he can show that he was not at the area at the time. Um, so he wants the case dismissed with prejudice as it relates to him. Okay. So it was dismissed, and it was dismissed with prejudice. So these charges will not, um, the civil suit will not come back again. Okay. The suit had first been filed against Combs in November, and Jay-Z's name was added to it in mid-December. Combs is still facing federal charges for trafficking and racketeering, as well as dozens of civil lawsuits. So if you guys can remember, I had showed you that chart, and it had like a list of possible charges, and it covered uh, abuse, assault, coercion, conspiracy, a continuing criminal enterprise, domestic violence, battery, exploitation, trafficking, and so on, against the various possible victims, right? Against Mr. Combs, and plus his possible co-defendants, right? I showed you that. I made that. I thought about it. I thought about what kind of charges would they be, federal charges. And I created that prior to the charges even happening. Once I read the Cassie Ventura's civil suit, that's how I created all of those anticipated charges, because the civil suit really laid the foundation, laid out the possible criminal charges, where I could see Mr. Combs being criminally charged, and that's exactly what happened. He was arrested and charged, and now um, he is actually on trial. And I may talk a little bit about Sean Combs' current prosecution and the criminal case. I know that Cassie Ventura has testify, and there will be other witnesses. I personally just do not like to discuss in any detail. Okay. I don't like to discuss in detail S cases like that, but I may cover it a little bit, but just in more of a general way, uh, or maybe just the end result, if he's convicted or not. Um, I have been following the trial, and I may just do a short about what's going on. But it's a lot happening in that prosecution, okay, in that criminal case of Mr. Combs. But let's continue. A media request for Buzbee, who is representing multiple other individuals who have taken legal action against Combs for alleged misconduct and other charges, had not been acknowledged as of Saturday morning. Combs, a Grammy winner, entrepreneur, and founder of the Sean John label, was arrested in September for racketeering, trafficking, and other charges. He is being detained at the Metropolitan Detention Center, a federal prison in Brooklyn, as he awaits the start of his trial on May the 5th. So his trial has started. He opted for a speedy trial. Don't give the prosecution all the time in the world, years, to build a case against him and keep him incarcerated at the same time. He said, no, push the button, let's go. In a statement issued Friday night, Combs' attorney wrote, today's complete dismissal without a settlement by the 1-800 attorney. Now, this is the statement. I am not making this up. By the 1-800 attorney is another confirmation that these lawsuits are built on falsehood, not facts. For months, we have seen case after case be filed by individuals hiding behind anonymity, pushed forward by an attorney more focused on media headlines than legal merit. Just like this claim, the others will fall apart because there is no truth to them. Sean Combs has never assaulted or trafficked anyone, man or woman, adult or minor. No number of lawsuits, sensationalized allegations, or media theatrics will change that reality. We will continue to fight these baseless claims and hold those responsible. This is just the first of many that will not hold up in court. So let's change the picture. Let's do a different picture of them because I'm tired of looking at that picture of them. Something, yeah, this is a decent picture. Okay. I like to switch up a picture after so much time. Let's continue. The music mogul Jay-Z, whose given name is Shawn Carter, posted a lengthy message describing the court's dismissal on Friday as a victory. The frivolous, fictitious, and appalling allegations have been dismissed, his statement read. This civil suit was without merit and never going anywhere. The fictional tale that they created was laughable, if not for the seriousness of the claims. I would not wish this experience on anyone. The trauma that my wife, my children, loved ones, and I have endured can never be dismissed. Oh boy, sounds like maybe defamation. I don't know. Because you have to bring a suit that has merit. If you know that the facts are not supported or there's not any evidence or witnesses, why would you bring the suit? Um, yeah, it looks a little it looks bad. Yeah, it looks bad. But let me continue. The Rock Nation founder continued. This 1-800 lawyer, oh boy, gets to file a suit hiding behind Jane Doe. And when they quickly realize that the money grab is going to fail, they get to walk away with no repercussions. The system has failed. The court must protect victims, of course, while with the same ethical responsibility, the courts must protect the innocent from being accused without a shred of evidence. May the truth prevail for all. Oh boy. In an interview with NBC News, the Jane Doe accuser said she had not come forward sooner about the alleged 2000 incident because she thought that no one would believe her. In that December interview, she also said that she had made some mistakes in her recollection of that night, but maintained that it allegedly happened. Ugh. So, even though this case is dismissed with prejudice, it cannot be brought again. She is saying that she made some mistakes. This was a long time ago. 2000? Ooh, that was over 20 years ago. She was very young. But she's saying that she had made some mistakes in what she remembered. But it doesn't mean it didn't happen, is what she's saying. She's maintaining that this happened to her. Oh, it's really sad. Let me continue. You should always advocate for yourself and be a voice for yourself. She told NBC, "You should never let what somebody else did ruin or run your life. I just hope I can give others the strength to come forward like I came forward." It's pretty tough because these men, they have families, they have daughters, oof. Can you just imagine this person at 13 years old? It's really sad. Let me continue. Combs is facing dozens of of allegations and multiple lawsuits for alleged misconduct, including drugging and women and men. Whew. Earlier this week, he filed a $100 million lawsuit against NBC Universal for its Peacock documentary, Diddy, The Making of a Bad Boy, which debuted on the streaming service last month. The lawsuit claims that filmmaker Ari Mark's documentary falsely accuses Combs of being responsible for the murders of a few individuals, including the musician Chris Biggie Wallace and Combs' former partner, Kim Porter, who is the mother of 4 of his children. So I have not watched that documentary. As you guys already know, um, I'm not like a huge fan of Sean Combs, so I have not watched the documentary. I didn't know about it, but maybe I'll watch it now. Um, he has a lot of both civil and criminal uh cases that he's dealing with right now, and he has a lot going on. Um, I might talk a little bit about the uh criminal case. I'm not sure how much I want to talk about. I don't know. The testimony that's happening in court has been wild. Um, Specifically Cassie Ventura's testimony. I don't want to tear apart someone's testimony of their experience and what they feel happened to them, and if they feel they were manipulated, or um, you know you just have to be so careful when you're talking about the subject matter of assault, abuse, manipulation. It's a complicated situation, a complicated case. Their relationship lasted for like 10 years. Um, During that time, I'm not aware of him ever being arrested for like domestic violence or threats or abuse. Not to say that it didn't happen. That's the thing, right? Just because someone wasn't arrested or it's not a record of it doesn't mean that it wasn't happening or happened. That's where the jury has to be the fact finder, right? They have to go through the evidence, they have to listen to the testimony and see, was this consensual or it was not? Was it forced or was it not? Was it abuse? Was it not? Was it trafficking? Was it not? Were these all adults agreeing to something, agreeing to this group activity, this group, encounters and things like that? Was it all consensual or not? Um, were people, drugged? All of that has to be considered. And that's where the jury really has to be the fact finder and figure out what are the facts in the case. Um, so I would probably just glance over the case, maybe. Um, I don't know. It's a lot happening in that case with Mr. Combs, but I'm just here to say in this case, the civil case against Mr. Combs and Mr. Carter, it was dismissed. It was dismissed with prejudice. The accuser cannot bring this up again and file another civil lawsuit. Now, I do have a video, and it's about, we'll probably watch about 2.5 minutes, just detailing everything that we already went over. This video was provided by Good Morning America. It's titled Civil Lawsuit Against Jay-Z, Diddy Dismissed. Okay, so let's play that.
Turning now to the dismissed civil suit against Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs, a woman who accused the two hip-hop artists of sexual assault when she was 13, dropping that lawsuit on Friday. Diddy and Jay-Z denying any wrongdoing, Jay-Z calling the allegations frivolous, fictitious, and appalling. Diddy's legal team insisting the dismissal is, quote, yet another confirmation that these lawsuits are built on falsehoods, not facts.
And joining us now with the latest on this is senior investigative correspondent Aaron Kotersky. Aaron, thank you so much for being here. So you were telling us that the accuser in the civil suit dismissed the lawsuit with prejudice, which means they can't file it again. Do we know why?
Well, it's going away entirely, and they did not give a reason. But the defense for Jay-Z and for Sean Combs had said there were glaring inconsistencies in the then 13-year-old's account, which supposedly this took place at the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards. Her father had driven her to the location. The father then said he didn't really remember doing that. So there weren't enough facts to establish what she alleged, even though at first her attorneys stood by her until just this past Friday.
Now, in a statement, Jay-Z said, in part, the trauma that my wife, my children, loved ones, and I have endured can never be dismissed. Is there any chance that he takes some sort of legal recourse here?
We haven't heard that he is going to do anything more with regard to this lawsuit, but his attorney has certainly threatened to impose sanctions against the plaintiff's attorney. That effort may go away now that the lawsuit has been dropped, but Jay-Z has said even in other legal filings that he suffered financial harm, that he suffered, certainly as the statement reflects, emotional.
Let me just pause it right here. So can you imagine, because now it's just like I'm processing these thoughts in my brain. Can you imagine, they're being sued and the allegations, they're already just terrible allegations, but the fact that it's a child, it's a minor, of course this is going to hurt their brand, their reputation. Could it affect if they have advertisements, if they have deals? Can they have clauses in their contracts where there's a morality clause, or you can't have any of this stuff happening and represent certain companies or businesses or products? I mean, this could have a huge impact on their livelihood, on their investments, on their relationships, connections, supporters. Yeah, this is really bad. But let's continue.
Harm because of the allegations and of all the lawsuits against Combs in particular. This one may have been the most difficult because the allegation involved a woman who says she was 13 at the time.
And Diddy right now we know is.
Let me pause it right there. In relation to Sean Combs, I don't think it's ever been an issue about sexuality. Who are you attracted to? Who do you date? Who do you have intimacy with? Men, women, both, whatever. As long as it's consenting adults, nobody really cares about that. Or if you're bisexual, whatever, nobody cares about that. Again, to me, it goes back to the age of the accuser, the alleged victim, 13 years old, being a minor. It's devastating. Again, both of these men have daughters. Both are fathers. I mean, it just hits at the heart of you to be accused of something so heinous, just violent. To imagine this happening to someone that's a minor, in this group activity amongst others, other famous people in this way is very shocking. is demoralized. It's just a lot. It's a lot. But let's continue.
In a New York jail, he's facing federal charges. What do we know about what's next for him?
He is due to go on trial this spring, and then all of this is going to get an airing. His legal team has said he did not sexually assault anyone, he did not sex traffic anyone, and they believe that this lawsuit being dismissed involving the Alabama woman who says she was 13 is going to be the beginning of all the civil cases against him falling apart.
Okay, let me pause it. In fact, I'm going to stop it there. They're starting to get into the criminal case a little bit and the charges, and saying, well, by this case, the civil lawsuit being dismissed, is going to, benefit Mr. Combs in particular, that, this is the start of all of these cases being dismissed, the civil cases, the criminal case. I don't think so. I think they're going to take every case. I know they're going to put on hold some of those civil lawsuits because the criminal case is proceeding on. Well, I don't think so. They're going to treat everything different and separately. He's got an uphill battle. Mr. Combs has an uphill battle to demonstrate in the criminal case specifically that this was not force, this was not trafficking, this was consensual. These were things that I would do in my relationship. I'm not going to say it was like an open relationship, but these are things that we agreed to. We both did together. We agreed to it. We set this up. This was something that we commonly enjoy. We regularly enjoy. We did this throughout the relationship. I introduced it, but this was something that she also wanted. Like this is going to have to be laid out, and proven and shown and demonstrated. And I guess you will see some of that in the cross-examination, because we all have the idea of what is alleged in this criminal case of Shawn Combs. So a lot of the counter will come in cross-examination of Cassie Ventura. So I'm going to stop there because I think I've laid the foundation why the civil case was, well, not why it was dismissed, but the fact that it was dismissed. And it can't come, this case cannot come back again against Mr. Combs or Mr. Carter from this accuser. Okay, so let me know what you think about it all. Thanks for spending this time with me. I really, really appreciate it. I want you to have a beautiful day. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your weekend. Remember to stay smart, stay safe, stay savvy. Be well, all my friends. Bye, everybody. Bye. See you later.